in God's Word. Today, January 12th, our readings Genesis 29 and 30 and Luke chapter 12. Let's turn to Luke chapter 12. Again, when you're in the Gospels, there's sometimes extended stories that take up a chapter or more. Other times there's different teachings that are put together. If you have a red letter edition Bible, which indicates the words of Jesus, you'll see this is in a section where Jesus is speaking a lot. There's a lot of teachings going on. And that's what we see here in chapter 12. Let's pick it up in verse 4. I tell you, my friends, do not fear those who kill the body and after that have nothing more that they can do. But I warn you whom to fear. Fear him whom after he has killed has authority to cast into hell. Yes, I tell you, fear him. Are not 5 sparrows sold for 2 pennies? Not one of them is forgotten before God. Why, even the hairs of your head are all numbered. Fear not. You are of more value than many sparrows. See, many times, fear that's in our lives is based on a lack of understanding or a lack of an acknowledgement of who's in control. When it comes to here particularly, he's talking about, one's own life, and don't be worried about that. Don't be fearful of that. The only one we fear in the sense of if we don't have things right is God, who has the power to send you to hell because you've chosen to go that way rather than to follow him and to receive his free gift of his Son. And he gives these examples, of sparrows and of the number of hairs on your head. In other words, he knows you. He knows me. What are we to fear? You've heard it often quoted 365 times or thereabouts. A phrase similar to this, do not fear, don't be afraid, is in the Bible. One for each day. Why? Because we're fearful people. We're fearful of what others will do. We're fearful of what others will think. We're fearful of failure. We're fearful of success. We're fearful in our own minds. And we get trapped in that. And Jesus wants us not to fear. And later in the chapter, starting in verse 22, he says, don't be anxious about your life, what you'll eat, your body, what you will put on. And he goes on to talk about all of these things. Instead, verse 31, seek his kingdom, and these things will be added to you. Fear, anxiety, these things are not of the Lord. When we operate and make choices based out of fear, based out of anxiety and worry, we're not trusting. He gives examples of ravens, lilies in the fields, all taken care of. How much more is our life worth than sparrows, ravens, lilies of the field? He says, oh, you have little faith. And all I could say is, Lord, increase my faith. And this isn't a message we need just once in a while. I think this is a message for every day for many of us. As we fight that battle in our minds and with what's going on around us, to be anxious, to be worried, to be fearful.